Joas was a son of 7 years when he became king. In the 7th year of Jehu, Joas became king, and he reigned 40 years in Jerusalem, and his mother's name was Abiah of Beersheba. And Joas did what was right in the sight of the Lord, all the days that Jodai the priest enlightened him. Yet some of the high places were not removed, and the people were still sacrificing there, and making incense offerings on the high places. And Joas said to the priests, all the money of the holy things that is brought into the house of the Lord, assessment money, when a man receives assessment money, all money, whatever arises in a man's heart to bring into the Lord's house, let the priests take for themselves, a man from their sale, and they shall secure the bedeck of the house and everything, there wherever a bedeck is discovered. And it happened in the 23rd year of King Joas, that the priests had not strengthened the bedeck of the house. And Joas the king summoned Jodai the priest, and the priests said to them, why is it that you were not strengthening the bedeck of the house? And now do not take money from your sales, because you shall donate it for the bedeck of the house. And the priests agreed not to take money from the people, and not to strengthen the bedeck of the house. And Jodai the priest took one chest and bored a hole on its lid, and set it beside the station in the house of a man of the Lord's house. And the priests who guard the threshold gave all the money that was found in the Lord's house. And it happened, when they saw that the money in the chest was much, that the secretary of the king went up, and the great priest, and they bundled and counted the money that was found in the Lord's house. And they gave the money that had been prepared into the hands of those doing the work, of the overseers of the Lord's house. And they paid it out to the workers in wood, and to the builders who were working in the Lord's house, and to the wall builders, and to the quarriers of stone, to buy wood and quarried stone to restrain the bedeck of the Lord's house, for all that was paid on the house to strengthen it. Yet there shall not be made for the Lord's house silver doors, nails, saucers, and trumpets, any golden vessel and silver vessel, from the money that was brought into the Lord's house. For they shall give it to those doing the work, and they strengthened the Lord's house with it. And they were not computing the men into whose hands they were giving the money, to give to those doing the work, for they dealt honestly. Money for sin and money for error, whatever was brought into the Lord's house, belonged to the priests. Then Hazael, king of Syria, went up and fought against Geth, and seized it in advance for himself. And Hazael fixed his face to go up against Jerusalem. And Joas king of Judah took all the holy things that Josaphat and Joram and Ochozias, his fathers and kings of Judah, had dedicated, and his own holy things, and all the gold that was found in the treasuries of the Lord's house, and to the king's house, and sent these to Hazael king of Syria. And he went up from Jerusalem. And the rest of the histories of Joas, and all that he did, behold, are these things not written in the book of histories of the days for the kings of Judah? And his slaves arose and bound an entire bond, and struck Joas in Mallow's house in Galah. And Jezechar son of Jemuath, and Jezebuth his son Somer, his slaves struck him, and he died. And they buried him with his fathers in the city of David, and Amasias his son reigned in his stead. In a year, the 23rd year, of Joas son of Ochozias, king of Judah, Joachaz son of Jehu became king in Samaria for 17 years. And he did what was evil in the sight of the Lord, and went after the sins of Jeroboam son of Nebat, who made Israel sin. He did not depart from them. And the Lord grew angry with rage in Israel, and gave them into the hand of Hazael king of Syria, and into the hand of Hadar's son of Hazael, all the days. And Joachaz entreated the face of the Lord, and the Lord heeded him, for he saw the oppression of Israel, that Syria's king oppressed them. And the Lord gave Israel deliverance, and they went out from under the hand of Syria. And the sons of Israel sat in their coverts, as yesterday and the day before. Yet they did not depart from the sins of the house of Jeroboam, who made Israel sin. They walked in them, and indeed the sacred grove stood in Samaria. For there was not left to Joachaz a people except 50 horsemen, and 10 chariots, and 10,000 footmen. For Syria's king had destroyed them, and they made them like dust for trampling. and the rest of the histories of Joachas, and all that he did, and all his acts of dominance, are these things not written in a book of histories of the days for the kings of Israel? And Joachas slept with his fathers, and they buried him with his fathers in Samaria, and Joas his son reigned in his stead. In a year, the 37th year of Joas, king of Judah, Joas son of Joachas became king over Israel and Samaria for 16 years. And he did what was evil in the sight of the Lord. He did not depart from all the sin of Jeroboam son of Nebat, who made Israel sin. He walked in them. And the rest of the histories of Joas and all that he did, and all his acts of dominance, which he exercised with Amasias king of Judah, are these things not written in a book of histories of the days for the kings of Israel? And Joas slept with his fathers, and Jeroboam sat upon his throne in Samaria with the sons of Israel. And Elisha had become sick with his sickness by which he died. And Joas king of Israel went down to him and wept on his face and said, Father, Father, chariot of Israel and its horsemen. And Elisha said to him, Take a bow and arrows. And he took to himself a bow and arrows. And he said to the king, Put your hand on the bow. And Joas put his hand on the bow. And Elisha laid his hands on the hands of the king. And he said, Open the window eastward. And he opened it. And Elisha said, Shoot. And he shot. And he said, The Lord's arrow of deliverance. And arrow of deliverance in Syria. And you shall strike Syria and Aphek until completion. And Elisha said to him, Take bows. And he took them. And he said to the king of Israel, Strike the ground. And the king struck 3 times and stopped. And the man of God was grieved at him and said, If you had struck 5 times or 6 times, then you would have struck Syria until completion. But now you will strike Syria 3 times. And Elisha died, and they buried him. And lightly armed men of Moab came in the land when the year came. And it happened, when they were burying the man, that behold, they saw the lightly armed man. And they threw the man in the grave of Elisha. And he went and touched the bones of Elisha. And he revived and stood up on his feet. And Hazael oppressed Israel all the days of Joachas. But the Lord had mercy on them, and had compassion on them, and had regard for them, because of his covenant with Abraham and Isaac and Jacob. And the Lord did not want to destroy them, and he did not banish them from his face. And Hazael king of Syria died, and Hadar's son his son reigned in his stead. And Joas son of Joachas returned and took from the hand of Hadar's son, son of Hazael, the towns that he had taken from the hand of Joachas his father in the war. 3 times Joas struck him, and returned the towns of Israel. In the 2nd year of Joas son of Joachas king of Israel, Amasias son of Joas king of Judah also became king. He was a son of 25 years when he became king, and he reigned 29 years in Jerusalem. And his mother's name was Joadin of Jerusalem. And he did what was right in the sight of the Lord, yet not like David his father. He did according to all the things that Joas his father had done. Yet he did not remove the high places. The people were still sacrificing, and making incense offerings on the high places. And it happened, when the royal power was firmly in his hand, that he struck his slaves who had struck his father. And he did not put to death the sons of those who had struck, just as it is written in the book of the laws of Moses, as the Lord commanded, saying, Fathers shall not be put to death for sons, and sons shall not be put to death for fathers, but only each one shall be put to death by his own sins. He struck Edom and Gaimelah, 10,000, and seized the rock in the battle, and he called its name Cathoel until this day. Then Amasias sent messengers to Joas son of Joachas son of Jehu, king of Israel, saying, Come, let us be seen by faces. And Joas king of Israel sent to Amasias king of Judah, saying, The Akan that was in Lebanon sent to the cedar that was in Lebanon, saying, Give your daughter to my son for a wife. And the wild animals of the field that were in Lebanon passed through and trampled down the Akana. Wounding you struck Idumea, and your heart lifted you up. Be glorified sitting in your house, and why do you strive in your wickedness? And you shall fall, you and Judah with you. And Amasias did not listen, and the king of Israel went up, and he and Amasias king of Judah were seen by faces in Beth-Samis, which belongs to Judah. And Judah fell from before Israel, and a man fled to his covert. And Joas son of Joachas king of Israel captured Amasias son of Joas, son of Ochozias king of Judah, in Beth-Samis. And he came to Jerusalem, and tore down in the wall of Jerusalem in the gate of Ephraim, as far as a gate of the corner, 400 cubits. And he took the gold and the silver, and all the vessels that were found in the Lord's house, and in the treasuries of the king's house, and the sons of the comminglings, and he returned to Samaria. And the rest of the histories of Joas, what he did in his dominance, which things he fought about with Amasias king of Judah, are these things not written in a book of histories of the days for the kings of Israel? And Joas slept with his fathers, and was buried in Samaria with the kings of Israel, and Jeroboam his son reigned in his stead. And Amasias son of Joas king of Judah lived 15 years after Joas son of Joachas king of Israel died. And the rest of the histories of Amasias and all that he did, are these things not written in a book of histories of the days for the kings of Judah? And they conspired a conspiracy against him in Jerusalem, and he fled to Lachish, and they sent after him to Lachish and put him to death there. And they took him up on horses, and he was buried in Jerusalem with his fathers in the city of David. And all the people of Judah took Azarias, and he was a son of 16 years, and made him king instead of his father Amasias. He built Ailoth and returned it to Judah, after the king slept with his fathers. In the 15th year of Amasias son of Joas king of Judah, Jeroboam son of Joas became king over Israel and Samaria, 41 years. And he did what was evil in the sight of the Lord. He did not depart from any of the sins of Jeroboam son of Nebat, who made Israel sin. He removed the border of Israel from the entrance of Hamath, as far as the sea of the Arabah, according to the word of the Lord, God of Israel, which he spoke by the hand of his slave Jonas, son of Amittai, the prophet who was from Geth-Kober. For the Lord saw that the humiliation of Israel was very bitter, and that they were few, bound and in want and abandoned, and there was no one to help Israel. And the Lord had not said that he would wipe out the seed of Israel from under heaven, and he saved them by the hand of Jeroboam son of Joas. And the rest of the histories of Jeroboam, and all that he did, and all his acts of dominance, what he fought about, and how he turned against Damascus, and Hamath belonging to Judah and Israel, are these things not written in a book of histories of the days for the kings of Israel? And Jeroboam slept with his fathers, with the kings of Israel, and Azarias son of Amasias reigned in his father's stead.